Ever wondered what really annoys mechanics? You might be saying things that make them roll their eyes. Or worse, charge you extra. From trying to bring your own parts to saying, I saw a YouTube video, so I know what's wrong. There are some things you should never say if you want a smooth repair experience. In this video, we're diving into 13 dangerous things you should avoid saying to your mechanic. Because trust me, saying the wrong thing can lead to delays, higher costs, or even your car being sent back without repairs. Stay till the end, because number 7 is something many people say, without realizing it's a huge red flag. Let's get started. Can you fix it for free? The fastest way to annoy a mechanic. Look, we all love a good deal, but asking a mechanic to fix your car for free, that's like walking into a restaurant and asking for a free steak dinner. Mechanics spend years honing their skills, investing in tools, and dealing with all kinds of car troubles. Their time and expertise aren't freebies. Sure, if you have a close friend or relative who's a mechanic, they might help you out once in a while. But expecting a free repair from a professional is just disrespectful. Plus, even if they don't charge for labor, parts still cost money. Instead of asking for a freebie, try this. Ask if there's a budget-friendly solution. Maybe they can suggest a temporary fix or a cheaper alternative. But outright asking, hey, can you fix this for free, is a surefire way to get an annoyed look, or even worse, a straight-up refusal to help. So, next time you visit a mechanic, respect their time and skill, because when you value their work, they're way more likely to go the extra mile for you. I found a YouTube video, so I know what's wrong. YouTube, the land of endless tutorials. Watching a car repair video can definitely teach you something, but let's be real, watching a 5-minute clip doesn't make you a certified mechanic. Imagine walking into a doctor's office and saying, I googled my symptoms, so I already know what's wrong. Just write me a prescription. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, that's exactly how mechanics feel when you waltz in saying, I saw a YouTube video, so I know what the problem is. Here's the issue. Every car is different. That video might show one possible problem, but real diagnostics require experience, proper tools, and testing. Plus, if you tell the mechanic what you think is wrong, they might focus on that instead of fully diagnosing the issue, potentially missing the actual problem. So instead of saying, I know what's wrong, try this. I watched a video about this issue. Could it be something similar? That way, you're showing interest without stepping on their expertise. Because trust me, mechanics love helping curious customers, but not ones who think a YouTube degree makes them an expert. Just slap some duct tape on it. A terrible idea. Ah yes, the classic duct tape fixes everything mentality. Sure, duct tape is great for quick DIY hacks, but when it comes to your car, not so much. Imagine telling a surgeon, just use some super glue instead of stitches. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, that's exactly how mechanics feel when you suggest fixing a real issue with a strip of duct tape. Duct tape might hold things together for now, but it's never a real solution. If something's leaking, rattling, or falling apart, a temporary fix like this could actually make things worse, turning a small repair into a much more expensive one later. Mechanics hear this all the time, especially when people don't want to spend money on proper repairs. But trust me, cutting corners like this will always cost you more in the long run. Instead of saying, can't we just tape it? Ask your mechanic for the most affordable but proper fix. Because while duct tape is great for arts and crafts, it definitely won't keep your car safe on the road. My friend said it should only cost $50. Oh, so your friend is a certified mechanic now? Funny, I didn't see their shop listed anywhere. Look, we all have that one friend who thinks they know everything about cars. And sure, they might have fixed a thing or two in their garage, but comparing their guesswork to a professional mechanic's pricing, that's a recipe for disaster. When you tell a mechanic, my friend said this should only cost $50, you're basically questioning their expertise. You wouldn't walk into a restaurant and say, my friend told me this steak should only cost $5. Would you? Same logic applies here. Repair costs depend on many factors. The parts, the labor, the time involved, and even the make and model of your car. Just because your friend thinks it's a cheap fix doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. Instead of arguing, try this. I was expecting a lower cost. Can you explain what's involved in the repair? This way, you're showing respect while also understanding what you're paying for. Because at the end of the day, would you rather trust your friend's guesswork or an actual professional who works on cars every single day? I don't need an oil change. It looks fine. Ah, yes, the old "it looks fine" excuse, because if the oil isn't black sludge yet, it must be perfectly good. Right? Wrong. Just because your oil looks okay on the dipstick doesn't mean it's still doing its job. Engine oil doesn't just get dirty. It breaks down over time and loses its ability to properly lubricate your engine. And when that happens, say hello to increased wear, overheating, and eventually a massive repair bill. Mechanics hear this line all the time, usually from people trying to save a few bucks. But skipping oil changes is one of the fastest ways to destroy your engine. You might not notice the damage now, but give it a few months. Then you'll be paying thousands for repairs instead of a cheap oil change. So instead of saying, "it looks fine," ask your mechanic when the last oil change was done and what the manufacturer recommends for your car. Because trust me, spending a little now is way better than replacing an entire engine later. Can you pass my car for inspection, even if it's not safe? Oh, so you want your car to pass inspection, even if it's basically a rolling hazard? Yeah, that's not happening. Look, mechanics aren't just ticking boxes. They're making sure your car is actually safe for the road. If your brakes are worn out, your tires are bald, or your check engine light is screaming for help, asking a mechanic to just pass it anyway is like asking a doctor to say you're healthy when you clearly have the flu. Not only is this unethical, but it's also illegal. Mechanics can lose their license for falsifying an inspection, and if you get into an accident because of an issue they ignored, they could even be held responsible. No mechanic is risking their career just so you can skip a repair. Instead of asking them to look the other way, ask, "What's the minimum I need to fix for it to pass?" That way, you can prioritize the most critical repairs while still keeping your car safe. Because let's be honest, if your car isn't safe, do you really want to be driving it anyway? I'll bring my own parts. You just install them. Oh, so you want to turn the mechanic's shop into a DIY assembly line? Yeah. That's not how this works. Bringing your own parts might sound like a great way to save money, but for a mechanic, it's a huge red flag. Why? Because they have no idea where those parts came from, if they're the right fit, or if they're even good quality. Think about it. If you walked into a restaurant and handed the chef your own ingredients saying, "Just cook this for me," do you think they'd be happy? Probably not. And if your parts fail, guess what? You're the one responsible, not them. Most mechanics order from trusted suppliers, ensuring the parts are compatible and reliable. When you bring your own, you're basically asking them to take on extra risk without any guarantee the job will go smoothly. Plus, many shops won't even offer a warranty on labor if you insist on using your own parts. Instead of saying, "I'll bring my own parts," ask, "Can we find a cost-effective option?" Mechanics are usually willing to work with your budget if you trust their expertise. Because at the end of the day, saving a few bucks isn't worth the headache of a failed repair. It's just a little noise. Can I keep driving? Ah, yes, the classic, "it's just a little noise" excuse. Because if your car isn't actively catching fire, it must be fine, right? Wrong. That little noise could be your brakes wearing down, your engine struggling, or something important about to snap in half. Ignoring it is like hearing a strange noise in your house at night and saying, it's probably nothing, until your ceiling caves in. Mechanics hear this all the time from people hoping they can just keep driving instead of fixing the issue. But here's the deal. Cars don't fix themselves. A small noise today can turn into a massive repair bill later. That tiny squeak? It could be a $50 fix now, or a $1,500 disaster if you wait too long. So instead of asking, "Can I keep driving?" ask, What could be causing this, and how urgent is it? A mechanic can tell you if it's a minor issue or a serious safety hazard. Because trust me, waiting until your car stops moving is the most expensive way to find out what's wrong. The last mechanic said something different. Oh, so the last mechanic had a totally different opinion. Well, if they were so great, why are you here? Look, mechanics understand that customers want second opinions. That's completely fair. But when you walk in and say, "The last mechanic said something different," you're basically setting up an argument. Every mechanic has their own way of diagnosing issues, and sometimes the first mechanic might have missed something or didn't do a thorough check. Cars are complicated. One mechanic might focus on one possible issue, while another finds the real problem. And let's be honest, some mechanics try to cut corners, misdiagnose, or even upsell unnecessary repairs. So instead of assuming one of them is wrong, think of it as getting multiple expert perspectives. A better way to approach this? Try saying, "The last mechanic mentioned X. What's your take on it?" That way, you're opening the door for discussion, rather than putting the new mechanic on the defensive. "I need it. Fixed today. But I won't pay extra." "Oh, so you need it done right now, but you don't want to pay extra?" That's like walking into a restaurant, demanding a 5-star meal in 5 minutes, and refusing to tip. Mechanics aren't magicians. They have schedules, other customers, and sometimes parts that need to be ordered. Rushing a repair means they have to push other jobs aside, stay late, or work under extra pressure. And guess what? That costs money. Expedited work often means overtime labor, priority shipping for parts, and sometimes even delaying other cars that were scheduled ahead of you. So when you say, "I need it today, but I won't pay extra," you're basically asking them to lose money and time for free. Instead, try this. "I need this fixed ASAP. What are my options?" That way, the mechanic can tell you if they can squeeze it in, what it will take, and if a rush fee applies. If you really need your car back fast, paying a little extra is worth it, because at the end of the day, fast, cheap, and high quality, you can only pick two. And there you have it, 13 things you should never say to a mechanic. If you've ever said one of these, don't worry, you're not alone. But now you know how to avoid those awkward moments and maybe even save yourself some time and money at the shop. Which of these surprised you the most? Or have you ever had a funny or frustrating experience with a mechanic? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. And hey, if you found this video helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button. It really helps the channel, and I appreciate every single one of you for watching. If you're into cars, repairs, or just want to avoid costly mistakes, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. And before you go, check out these other awesome videos on screen. Whether you want more car tips, repair hacks, or things you should never do with your car, I've got you covered. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.